Ever since its inception in 1948, there have been loads of NASCAR races that have been held. NASCAR races would first be televised in the 1960s as part of ABC World Sports coverage. In 1979, CBS would broadcast the very first live-by-lap TV coverage of a NASCAR race with the 1979 Daytona 500. This would end up being a massive success, and more NASCAR races would be broadcast in the coming years. By the early 1990s, every NASCAR Cup Series race would be broadcast live on television. The NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series would also have all their races broadcast live on TV by the mid-1990s. Fast forward to 2025, and hundreds of NASCAR races have been broadcast. TV broadcasts are very crucial to every NASCAR fan. Without these races, we cannot see important moments in NASCAR history. Now, with any type of media, there are sporting events, movies, and TV shows that fall through the cracks and are lost in time. This is known as lost media. This includes media that was once available to the public, but are now not available to be viewed by the public, or media that the public has never seen. NASCAR is no different. There have been countless race broadcasts, and not every race can be seen by the public. So today I will highlight 10 different accounts of lost NASCAR TV races. The 1976 Dixie 500 was held at Atlanta Motor Speedway on November 7, 1976. This race is known for a violent wreck involving Dick Brooks and a young Dale Earnhardt. In the early stages of the race, Dick Brooks lost control of his car heading into the backstretch and ultimately took out a part of the backstretch wall. Brooks' car went into oncoming traffic, and Dale Earnhardt spun his car, and in the midst of it, Earnhardt's car went flipping. Dale Earnhardt and Dick Brooks would both be fined after this nasty wreck. While the radio broadcast of the clip has been found, the TV broadcast has not been found. The race was broadcast by CBS, and it was aired the following Saturday, and then on other stations the next Sunday. The race was shown as a 45-minute highlight reel alongside the 93rd National Horse Show. This was a part of CBS Sports Spectacular. The broadcast or any other footage have not resurfaced online. Only the radio broadcast of Earnhardt's flip and photos have resurfaced online. It is unknown if we will ever see this broadcast. In 2003, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series went to the South Boston Speedway for the final time for the John Boy and Billy 250. 2003 was also the very first year where Speed would broadcast every NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. To this very day, the race cannot be found in its entirety. However, a few clips from the race are on YouTube, which includes a few wrecks from the race and the finish of the race showing Dennis Setzer winning the race. These videos were taken from highlight reels from NASCAR.com. Unless someone has a copy of the race lying around, or if NASCAR decides to release it onto their NASCAR Classics website, this broadcast will not see the light of day. Next up is another Truck Series broadcast. This time it is the 2006 Silverado 350K, held at Texas Motor Speedway on November 3, 2006. This race saw then Cup Series rookie Clint Bowyer dominate the race by leading 103 laps out of the 148 laps. This would be Clint Bowyer's first win in the Truck Series and only his third start in the series. There are a few remaining clips of the race on YouTube, including Aaron Crocker blowing a motor and Clint Bowyer winning the race. Oddly enough, the whole entire broadcast is online, but in Spanish.
On le trouve dans le top 10 qui est vraiment très.
As far as I'm aware, the whole broadcast for this race in English has never surfaced online. It's more than a safe bet to say that NASCAR has this race in their archives. I would also assume that someone has a recording of this race stashed away somewhere, but who knows. I would love to see this race someday in its entirety, just because it is Clint Bowyer's first win in the Truck Series. Now let's jump over to the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Southern Tour Series. This was another lower division NASCAR series that was founded in 2005, and it went all the way until 2016. but it is the series' last race ever that is currently lost. The series' last race was held on October 6th, 2016 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, the series didn't race on the big 1.5 mile oval, no, but instead they raced on the much shorter inner oval short track. This race in particular was broadcast via tape delay by NBC Sports and aired on NBCSN. This race saw Burt Myers win the championship, and a young Ryan Preece won the final race in the series' history. I clearly remember seeing this race on YouTube only a few years ago, and it was pretty cool to watch. Now, this race has since been taken down or been made private, most likely due to copyright issues. I don't expect to see this race anytime soon. Next up are a pair of missing races. In 2016, the NASCAR K&N Pro West Series went to the Utah Motorsports Campus in Tooele, Utah for a doubleheader. The 2016 Utah 110 presented by Ken Garff Volvo was held on September 10th, and the 2016 UMC 110 presented by Ken Garff Volvo was held the following day on September 11th. Both races would be won by then future Cup Series driver Noah Gragson, including a controversial win in the second race. In 2016, NBC Sports would broadcast the whole NASCAR K&N Pro West Series season on tape delay and would air on NBCSN. On two separate occasions, both the races were on YouTube, but after YouTuber Frisky Nixon decided to wipe out all the content on his YouTube channel, the races went missing once again. These races are important to me as Utah is my home state. I think the only way that these races will be found is if someone that has a copy of these races uploads them onto YouTube, or if the NASCAR Regional YouTube page decides to upload the missing races. Only time will tell. How about a race known for having a big flip? Well, the 2005 Dover 200 held at Dover Motor Speedway on September 24, 2005, featured a flip in the race. On the very first lap of the race, the big one broke out on the backstretch. Donnie Neuenberger got the worst of it as his car tapped another car and he was sent flipping and landed on his wheels. While this crash and all other crashes from this race are online, the whole race broadcast is not online. We can tell from the Racing Reference website that this race was uploaded to YouTube, but the video is no longer on YouTube. This race was dominated by Ryan Newman as he led 193 laps of 200 laps to win the race. The finish to one of the most dominated races in a modern era NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race is something I want to see. Unless someone has a copy of this race lying around, or unless NASCAR releases the race, I don't think we will see this race online. Now let's go back in time to 1992. In 1992, Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon was racing full-time in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He would win his first race in the series in the 1992 Atlanta 300 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This would be the beginning of a legendary career for Jeff Gordon. What people may not know about this race is that the race was actually broadcast by ABC. However, it was not ever shown on television. Now, why would this be? Well, the race would only be broadcast in the event that the Cup race held the following day at Atlanta would be delayed due to weather. Of course, that did not happen. We can, however, watch a highlight reel of the race, but that's the only known footage of the race. The only way we'll see this race is if the race is uploaded from the ABC Vault or by NASCAR themselves. I do not expect to see this race anytime soon. In February 1982, the NASCAR Cup Series would make their semi-annual visit to the Daytona International Speedway. As always, there would be two qualifying races held for the Daytona 500. These races were at the time known as the Uno Twin 125 qualifiers. Both races would determine the starting grid for the Daytona 500. These races were held on Thursday, February 11th, and the second race was shown on USA Network 2 days later. The second race is online in its entirety. However, It is unknown if race 1 of the 125 qualifiers was ever broadcast. While no known footage of the race exists, it is speculated that maybe a fan has filmed portions of the race, but that hasn't been confirmed. At this moment, it cannot be confirmed or denied if this race is ever broadcast. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is going strong heading into 1999. At this time, different TV providers were broadcasting NASCAR Truck Series races, including CBS and ESPN. However, one race broadcast from the season has remained lost in time for a very long time. That is the 1999 Federated Auto Parts 250 at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, held on July 10th in 1999. The race was scheduled to be aired on CBS. However, the race never aired on CBS due to a weather delay. The race would resume the following day on July 11th, and the broadcast was originally going to be on TNN. However, due to scheduling conflicts, the broadcast was not shown at all, but it was taped. The only known footage of the race comes from a recap of the race from the next Truck Series race broadcast coming from Nazareth Speedway on July 18th, 1999. The only way we will see the broadcast of the race is if NASCAR releases the broadcast of the race. Let's not kid ourselves here, CBS is not going to release this race from their vault, and why would they? They don't broadcast many motorsports events anyways, so I'd be shocked if CBS suddenly decided to release this. It would make no sense. Lastly on this list, I want to talk about missing race broadcasts of NASCAR K&N Pro West and NASCAR K&N Pro E-Series races. Starting in 2015, NBC Sports would broadcast every NASCAR K&N Pro West and E-Series race and then show the race on NBCSN via tape delay. These races would later be live streamed and also shown on TV via tape delay all the way up through the end of 2023. Now these races are live streamed through floracing. The races I want to talk about are the NASCAR K&N Pro West and E-Series races from 2015 to 2018. A lot of these broadcasts, if not all of them, are uploaded and available to watch on YouTube. However, these races have since been taken down and are no longer available to watch on YouTube. The NASCAR Regional YouTube channel has been a great resource for uploading older West and East Series races, so I highly expect that NASCAR has a copy of all these broadcasts in their archives. I also fully expect that fans and other NASCAR YouTubers have broadcasts of these races as well. I think we may know who has broadcasts of these missing races. So let's get these races out of obscurity and put the great races these NASCAR series has to offer online. And that was 10 pieces of lost NASCAR TV media. Comment down below to join the discussion on lost NASCAR races. If you enjoyed this type of content, then subscribe for more great NASCAR content. And have a great rest of your day.